I don't really think any doctor has ever told me to do diet. All of them have just told me to take medications and that I'm never going to get better without medications. You know, they're just kind of negative about it. Even my current psychiatrist I've last had, I had to fire him.
And good morning. Good morning.
Welcome.
We've got James. James, looks like you're with us today. So welcome, James. Thanks for taking the time to do this. And hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me just start my audio or my video. There we are. There I am on that tropical beach there. Just kidding.
Thank you.
Anyway, James, thank you for doing this. Where are you located, man?
I'm in San Diego, California.
Very nice. Yeah, I was there about a month ago. Nice place. I used to live not far from there in Orange County. So I'm sure you're enjoying the nice warm weather out there that you guys have pretty much most of the year. So
yeah, it's been real warm. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background. What brought you to doing what you're doing, and just give us a little of your background.
So, well, I started carnivore because I have a history of a lot of severe mental health issues. It all started when I was about 6 years old. I was diagnosed with ADHD, and they put me on medications for that. Around that time, I started getting depressed and anxious. Let's see. So it just kind of got worse and worse. When I was about 14, 15, I started having insomnia. And around that time as a teenager, I started, using drugs like pharmaceutical drugs and street drugs. And by the time I was 17, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective and bipolar disorder. So basically everything just kept getting worse and worse. They put me on lots of meds like antipsychotics, Depakote type stuff like mood stabilizers, anti-anxiety pills. And I started to gain a lot of weight, and I used to be obese. And I had been hospitalized like 200 times in my life, at least. Can't really count, but it's been at least 200 times I've been hospitalized in the ER and the psychiatric hospital combined. I've even had times when I went to the hospital multiple times in a week. So, or I would go, because the ER, they just keep you for a night and give you a bunch of shots and then kind of send you home. So, yeah. And that's kind of that's like the background, I guess, with the mental health stuff. I also have pre-diabetes, IBS, just you name it. I had basically just metabolic issues along with severe mental health issues and gut issues. And all of that went into remission since I started carnivore almost 2 months ago.
Wow. That's amazing. 2 months. That's there was a paper that just came out. I think George Eade and Eric Westman were on that, and they looked at 31 patients, and they had depression, bipolar disorder, and schizoaffective disorder were 3 conditions that they saw, and all of them improved significantly using a ketogenic style diet, which is similar to a carnivore diet or can be a carnivore diet. And it's interesting to see the relationship, and we often see a relationship between gut dysfunction, poor gut health, and mental health disorders. And so 200 ER hospitalizations. That's crazy. Not the word crazy is not here in any kind of crazy way, but it's just, that's a lot. And obviously your quality of life was dramatically affected. I can't imagine you can hold a job and have, a relationship of any, good relationships in that situation. How did you, who got you interested in trying a carnivore diet or trying nutrition in general?
Actually, it was my wife. So I met my wife about 2.5 years ago, and she has been telling me this whole time, like, you got to try carnivore. And, I've been watching you and Dr. Palmer and, all those carnivore type doctors, Paul Saladino, and researching it a lot. And I finally just decided to try it. But yeah, it was definitely my wife who introduced me to this way of eating. And, she was right, because I went from like living basically in hell on earth to having a great life really quickly just by doing this. And I'm on no medications. So I'm glad I listened to her and watched, all you guys on, YouTube and social media and stuff.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, I'll just it's kind of a topical thing because we keep hearing about we have to stop eating meat to save the planet or cut back on that. And for you, I mean, it's a matter of almost life or death. I mean, you think about
Yeah.
from your quality of life and your health to be able to have access to this stuff. How did when you were the whole time this was going on for the years, and you said you started it as a young kid, basically. Was there ever any physician? I mean, because we would have encountered dozens, if not 100 physicians over there. Did any of them say anything about, hey, let's clean up your diet, let's do anything lifestyle related? Was that something that anybody addressed to you?
No, actually, none of them did. All of them have just told me to take medications and that I'm never going to get better without medications, that I'm never going to survive or I'm going to die or overdose if I don't take medications because I'll get manic and, do drugs. But, they're just kind of negative about it. They're even my current psychiatrist I've last had, I had to fire him because he told me that I was just going to get manic and he wouldn't take me off the meds. I was able to get off the meds, but I couldn't completely do it with the help of a doctor. I had to kind of know the weaning schedules and look those up. And then he would lower the dose. It's like, I don't really think any doctor has ever told me to do diet. I am going to go to a carnivore doctor. Dr. Gary, I found him through Revero, and he takes my insurance. Yeah, so I'm going to go to him.
He's up in LA. Yeah, Gary Slipper. He's up in LA. Yeah, there's another. Yeah. So Brian Lenskis is in San Diego. Just so you know, but he does direct primary care. So he may be another one. Although he's local. I don't know what his fullness is, but yeah. I mean, it to me, it's got to be frustrating. A doctor won't even participate in your help to try to wean you off medications. So you have to do it on your own, which is, unfortunately, that's one of the reasons we're setting up Revero, so we won't have to have people in those situations. How quickly, you said 2 months and you're off everything. How quickly did you start to see a shift in how you were feeling mentally and that type of stuff and gut health? How long did it take?
I started to see a shift within days. I started to have more energy. In about 2 weeks, I was not as depressed. It took, 2 weeks to a month for the depression to be completely gone. And then the mania psychosis part I had, I'd say that went away also about a month ago. So about 2 weeks in, depression is gone. And then the more like high strung anxiety, mania, paranoia, delusional type stuff took about a month. And then that's when, I started going off the meds. Well, I started lowering them in the beginning, but I've actually almost been off all the meds for a month. So really, I was weaning off, almost completely a month in. And I know that that's a little fast, but my intuition, was telling me like, I don't need these meds if I do carnivore. And I was right, because I've never made it this long without an episode off the meds in my whole life. Yeah. So it was definitely carnivore.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, 2 months out, so it'll be good to see how it happens over the long term. I mean, I don't see him here right now. We have another member, Brett, who's often here, and he had a very similar experience to you. I mean, decades of kind of what you're describing, and, went carnivore, and he's now, I think he's 4+ some years into this, and off all meds and just doing great. And so as long as he stays, fairly tight with his diets. Speaking of which, what does your diet consist of, today?
I have a very, very strict limited diet. So I started off only eating grass-fed red meat, which would be either ground beef or some kind of steak, like a ribeye, a New York, a chuck, or even London broil if I'm tight on money, cheap meat, but it's still grass-fed, red meat. So now I have incorporated in raw dairy, which is mostly just raw cheese or raw goat cheese. And then pasture-raised eggs and avocados. So that's about all I have. I will have some onions sometimes. So that's like, 5 or 6 things I have. And I don't put a lot of spices. I just put mostly salt, real salt, that brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And for oils, I use animal fat. So I use ghee, tallow, and butter. And I don't even use avocado oil, like no seed oils. I mean, avocado is okay, but I am very careful about just sticking to animal products mostly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you mentioned pre-diabetes, and I don't know what your weight was like. Are you seeing some gains in that area too? Can you tell if those are improved?
Yeah. So my fasting glucose was 120 before I started this. And now I got my blood work done a few days ago. My fasting glucose is 71. So it went down 50. And they consider that low, but I don't think that's a big deal, 70. And as for obesity, I'm no longer obese. I fluctuate between having lost in the past 2 months 45 to 49 pounds. So I'm kind of at like a plateau right now. But I know I'll lose, I'm not worried. It's not about weight loss for me. It's about the mental health improving because I got my life back. But that's like a plus.
Yeah, and gosh, it's just so amazing. And like I said, I would be shocked if I hadn't already seen this before. And fortunately, I've seen it many, many times, which is so wonderful. But nonetheless, this is an impactful story. What about, you mentioned insomnia, sleep issues, is sleep getting better? How things going with sleep?
The sleep is like one of the most helpful things for me that's improved. I would go, from requiring a sleeping pill for the past 10 years or so to sleep. And now I can sleep 10 to 12 hours a night without a sleeping pill. I can wake up earlier, but I try to rest a lot because my body's kind of recovering from, being on those meds. So I do, I sleep without any sleeping pills, 10 to 12 hours a night. And with the pre-diabetes stuff gone, I don't wake up to urinate every hour. So I can actually sleep through the night now.
Yeah, that's got to add to the, better sleep's going to help your mental health as well. So the question was, what was your diet like prior to this? And had you ever tried like different diets over the years, or what, just kind of a standard diet, or what were you eating?
I was eating a really unhealthy standard American diet. So I would get Jack in the Box, a few times a week, in and out, you know what I mean? Like just like with all the bread on there, junk food. And I would eat lots of sugar, like, pies and cookies. I think that the antipsychotics made me crave junk food, honestly, because I don't crave it anymore. But yeah, I would eat very, very bad, like just like total junk, and I didn't follow I've tried stuff like only drinking like green smoothies with fruit and veggies in them, or eating vegan. I've done vegan for like 1 month before and it didn't help me. It actually made me worse, in my opinion. Same with eating the green smoothies only. So yeah, I have had and I have more success with fasting now, because I had tried fasting in the past, but I could only make it a day and a half. Now I can go like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it's interesting. And obviously, I mean, I've said this over and over again. I think we are seeing a large increase in mental health disorders in this country and others over the last, really 40, 50 years. And I think the nutrition has a big role in that. The fact that our diet quality continues to get lower and lower and more highly processed is doing that. And it's wonderful to see that, by changing your diet, including, animal-based products in there almost exclusively, you've been able to make such a huge, huge difference. How has that affected, I mean, I think maybe your wife is with you there. How has that affected your relationship? And I mean, does she, I'm sure she's noticed a difference, but has there been anybody around you close in the family, friends that have noticed?
Yeah, basically like my whole family can tell I'm doing really well and they're very proud of me. I can tell that. So that also helps boost my confidence in this diet and eating this way and getting better. And it has helped with my wife and I's relationship, because now I am more motivated, so I can help with our daughter more, because we have a 6-month-old daughter, and I can clean up more, stuff like that. We get along. Yeah, we do get along better, I think. I mean, we've always had like a pretty good relationship, but definitely it improved relationships to put the mental health stuff into remission, because she was constantly worried, I was going to die, or I was going to get manic and just go wander around different neighborhoods all night or something, so she's a lot less stressed and worried. So it's also improved her mental health too.
Just for those that aren't familiar with mania and different, what does that feel like to you? I mean, can you describe what it's like being manic, or how that changes you?
I would say mania feels like your brain is overwired. I could say like too much energy in your brain. So if you're manic, you're gonna start sleeping less. You are going to do risky things, be more impulsive. You're gonna have all these crazy ideas that aren't real. And then if it goes on for too long and you've had, what I had, you're gonna get psychotic, which is where you're gonna not sleep at all, start hallucinating, hearing stuff. And literally it's like what you would imagine like someone on, methamphetamines would be like. So, but without that, it can happen. So it's like, literally going crazy, which that's the only way I could explain it.
Now that you're starting to, I guess, I assume, think more clearly, having more mental stability, what kind of aspirations? I mean, did you ever think like what kind of, I don't know what you're doing for, if you were able to hold a job or anything like that, but what does the future look like for you now? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Now I want to find a way to help, other people who were like me get better, especially with the carnivore diet. So I'm thinking I could, I started a YouTube and I started an Instagram. So that's like the start, but I just want to try to help people. So maybe I will go to college now and get some kind of degree that can aid me in doing that. And now that I'm not like totally out of control with my mental illness, I can save money. And my wife and I want to move to Spain because she has citizenship there, and my daughter does as well.
How old is your daughter?
6 months.
She wants to move
You hear
to
her
Spain.
crying back there.
She said she wants to go to Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
my wife and daughter, but
yeah, I got it. Yeah. And so your wife's in Spain. Okay. Very nice. Well, what, as far as, you said you fast from time to time, how has, like I said, did you, you said you're on antipsychotics and you had all these cravings to eat food. Did you notice like, because you just said kind of a lot of fast food, a lot of sugary, junky food. Did one food, were you able to look back and say, when I ate these types of food, it made things worse, or I was more manic when I ate this way and more depressed when I ate this way, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, I know I've been doing this 2 months, but 2 weeks in, I had like a slip up and I ate pizza and I got totally like manic, paranoid and anxious. And then I didn't eat, it dissipated because I ate healthy the next day. So it took a few days to go away, but it's true. Yeah. If I eat like gluten and a lot of carbohydrates like that, I believe if I went right now and ate a whole cake or a whole pizza or even a little bit, I would totally just fall off the deep end because I'm not on the meds anymore.
What is keeping you? I mean, is there just a knowledge that, hey, if I do this, I'm going to have a bad thing? Or do you feel like you just don't want those things now?
Both. So I feel like I don't want them. I don't crave them. So like if I'm hungry, I'm thinking in my head, oh, I really just want like, some beef, like a steak or some ground beef with raw cheese and an avocado on the side and maybe some onion in there. Like I don't crave that bad food. And also there's a knowledge, like if I do this, I could end up just like throwing all my progress away, and I'm not going to do that. So it's a combination of both, and like a fear of even eating that way because I fear what would happen.
Now, you said your wife was had gotten you interested in, or was looking at it for you. Is that something she has as her diet as well, or mostly meat based as well?
Yeah, she's on the same type of diet as me. She's done it more than me. I mean, but she's kind of done it on and off. And this time around, we have both helped each other stick to it. So she's been doing it this whole 2 months as well. The thing with her is she doesn't have any, the same kind of health issues as me. So she'll have like a banana or some berries. So she has fruit still sometimes, but she's mostly like, I'd say like 90% of her diet is carnivore like me. She's just not as strict. And it's also helped her. She's lost weight, and her thyroid issues have reversed. I mean, she's on Armour thyroid, which is like a natural thyroid medicine. But at the same time, it's gotten a lot better, her energy and her thyroid issues. I don't think she could just do it with only medicine, and she's lost, like 10 or 15 pounds, which is a lot for someone her size, especially since she wasn't as big as I was. So, she looks much slimmer, which makes her happier.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let me ask you, you had how many years did you spend on medications for mental health disorders from ADHD to the schizoaffective disorder?
If you counted the ADHD medicine when I was 6, I mean, I wasn't on like the antipsychotics and stuff. So I was about 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say that if you counted all those meds I was on and off of and on them for periods of time, probably from 6, and I'm 27 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got off them when I was 27. So that's like 21 years of being on some form of medication.
Yeah,
and there were periods in there where I went off of them as a kid. But once I was on like the schizoaffective bipolar ones, that was like nonstop, a long time of meds.
Yeah, that's and this is the longest period of time you've been without meds since you had your schizoaffective diagnosis?
Yeah, correct. This is the longest period. It's been about a month, and I've never made it this long. I mean, even going off them for 2-3 days, I would be crazy before. So now I'm not.
How I don't know if we touched on your gut. How's the gut health doing?
Gut health? Well, I did have irritable bowel syndrome, and it's much better. I mean, it's pretty much fine now. I never like had the fecal test or anything to see what was going on. I never really had a lot of diagnoses except IBS, but that is gone. I mean, I just am regularly going to the bathroom now. I don't have stomach pains and cramping anymore. I don't have any gut issues that I know of. I do take probiotics that help me recover faster.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
How about your motivation to do? Are you starting to get outside more, walk, exercise, get out in the sun? Any of those?
Oh yeah,
things?
Absolutely. So I will walk sometimes I walk like 7 to 9 miles in a day. I live by all these trails, and I live in East San Diego, so I'm kind of like
away from.
It's like there's apartments, but it's by the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a mountain by my house I can hike. Sometimes I'll hike up that and down. I'll walk around our lake, and that's, that'll be like 7 to 9 miles of walking. I have a gym in my apartment, so I will go there and, work out sometimes. And yeah, it's been a little bit like I'll go through phases where I work out a lot, and then sometimes I have to take a break because, coming off the meds surprisingly, it's making me more tired. And normally when I wasn't on carnivore, I would get more hyper, when I was coming off them. But now it's been almost like more like I sleep better and I'm more sleepy. So I do work out though. Yeah, I work out a lot more. I'm much more motivated.
Yeah. That's probably going to help as well. I'm sure it will. What is your favorite? What's your favorite foodie? If you could describe your favorite meal now, what would you pick as a favorite thing?
Favorite thing? I don't know. I like a lot of the food I eat. Well, making my own like burgers, but I don't put bread, of course. So I would just, make a patty of grass-fed 80/20 ground beef, and put, like some raw goat cheese on top, some caramelized onions and avocado. And that's probably my favorite thing, definitely.
How much, and I don't know what you were spending on medications, probably some of it came off on insurance copays and stuff like that. But I mean, how expensive is this for you to be able to do this compared to previous diets? Is it similar, about the same, a little more expensive? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'd say I'm actually saving a lot of money because I had to file for bankruptcy for medical bills a few years ago. And I have seen my summary for, like my insurance, and it was crazy amounts. Like they would spend like $1 million in a year on my healthcare. Like insane amounts because, I wouldn't have to pay all that, but if you get a bunch of $500 copay bills and you don't pay them because you're sick and on, disability and whatnot, it's going to add up, and then you're going to have to file for bankruptcy. So my credit's better now because I haven't, I don't know. It just worked out. So I am saving a lot of money, if you think about it. Save a lot of money.
And you just think about how every single ER visit is runs into the thousands of dollars. And if you're, if you're going to the ER, every other week or something like that, that adds up very quickly. And so, I mean, not just your cost, but cost to society in general. And it's, just by providing you high quality nutrition, which is a fraction of the cost, relative to what it costs you and society is well, it's a very good trade-off in my view. And do you, so, I mean, I guess you said you started on social media. We'll have to get you to share your YouTube and Instagram. Have you had people that have been sort of negative towards this? I mean, sometimes you get people on plant-based diets that say you're a bad person because you eat meat and that type of stuff.
Well, I haven't got anyone negative yet because I just started my social media. Like my Instagram, for example, only has like 7 followers or something like that.
We'll get
my YouTube has only had like 100 views on 5 videos. So
I'm sure it'll go up.
I don't think I've got enough attention to be harassed by vegans yet, but I'm sure it'll happen,
Yeah, well, like I said, hopefully not. I hope it doesn't happen, but it may. And you just have to stay strong to what you're doing there. What is your just to get that up? What is the name of your Instagram?
So my Instagram is bipolar _carnivore.
Bipolar carnivore. All right.
I don't know if everyone knows how to spell bipolar. It's just BIPOLAR _carnivore. And then my YouTube is bipolar carnivore, but it's 2 words. So it's bipolar is 1 word, space carnivore.
The bipolar carnivore. Let me see. James Watson, I found you. I'm going to go follow you, man. All right, so cool. That's so you got 2 posts. You got to put some more posts on there. Get some pictures of some steak up on there or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll start like putting videos of me making the carnivore meals. I don't know.
I mean, we had, like I said, I had another. She calls herself borderline personality. I think BPD carnivore, Sade, and she's doing great. I mean, she's another. I just see this every single day how important nutrition plays a role in mental health. And I encourage you to not shut up about it. I encourage you to get the word out there and to let other people know, because this is an incredibly, incredibly important, this is important information. This can save literally, lives, and probably hundreds, if not thousands and millions of lives. And then of course, again, there's a financial difference in this. And so, is there anything else you want to share with us, James?
Nothing else I want to share now. The reason I came on this podcast is because I want people to, follow me or see me so they can get hope kind of, and I want to help people. So that's why I did this. And I hope I can, eventually start helping people get better, especially from the mental health stuff, because that's honestly like the most horrible thing to go through in my opinion. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. And I hope you, like I said, I just hope you're able to continue with this and continue to find success and stay strong. And our community is happy. I'm happy to support you. Our community is, and I'm sure some of us will go follow you on Instagram and give you some encouraging words. And like I said, thank you for sharing your story. It takes a lot of courage to do that. A lot of people are, mental health has this stigma to it, and it shouldn't. It's just like any other disease process. And so we just have to recognize that it has a treatment, and nutrition can often be it. So James, thank you so much for doing this. Good luck to you. And let's reach out again down the road and see how you're doing in 6 months or something like that. If you're okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'll email you. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. You guys have a great morning. We'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye now.